everyone. Thank you for dialing in to our webinar today, Lunch and Learn. My name is Renee Hartman. I'm the NDIS Policy Manager for Disability Employment Australia. So to get things started, I'd like to first acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which we're all meeting on today. I'm coming from Western Australia, from near Bali and Mardu country. So I welcome you all and acknowledge our traditional owners and extend that acknowledgement and respect to Aboriginal persons online with us. So these lunch and learn sessions are delivered by the Centre of Inclusive Employment in partnership with Disability Employment Australia. The Centre supports providers with practical resources, tools and training to help deliver high quality employment services for people with disability and employers. DEA is the national peak body representing disability employment providers, and the Centre is delivered by a national consortium led by the Centre for Social Impact at Swinburne University of Technology, bringing together research, lived experience and sector expertise. So just a little bit of housekeeping. We'll have live captions provided by Expressions Australia. Thank you, Mel. And Liv is with us today to provide more instructions in the chat of how you can access them. So Liv's our event guru at DEA, so she'll be steering the ship behind the scenes. So just to let you know, this will be recorded and available to view on the online hub, along with the slides and transcript that will be sent to you after the session. So I'd just like to now introduce our speakers for today's Lunch and Learn. In this session, we'll be joined by Maddie Ray and T. Ryan from MEGT. So Maddie is the Industry Partnership Manager for Victoria and Queensland at MEGT, where she works with employers, government, industry associations and community organisations to grow apprenticeship and traineeship opportunities across Australia. Her colleague T is an Assistant Customer Service Manager at MEGT based in Queensland and is an expert on understanding the tailored supports available through the Disability Australian Apprenticeship Wage Support, otherwise known as DAAWS, thankfully. So look, just to let you know that we will have a Q&A time after the session. So if you think of some questions, jot them down. And there will be time for that. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Maddie and T. Thank you.
Thanks, Renee. Hi, everyone. As Renee mentioned, I'm Maddie and I've got my colleague T with me today. I'm just going to share my screen. I've got a presentation ready, so just bear with me. I think we're all good now. Okay, so today we're gonna go through a little bit about ourselves. T and I both work for MEGT Australia, and we're going to go over a session today, building inclusive careers through apprenticeships and traineeships with MEGT. So I'll kick off. Who are we? So who are MEGT? We're Australia's largest single Apprentice Connect provider. So we hold the federal government contract to deliver apprenticeship services across Australia in various states. As Renee mentioned, I personally am the Industry Partnership Manager for Victoria and Queensland. So I go between the two, and T is based in Queensland. We operate currently out of Victoria, ACT, New South Wales, Queensland, WA and Outback WA are split into two regions as well. So we have over 40 years supporting apprentices and employers. We started here in Victoria in Melbourne's East about 46 years ago. So we've been around for a long time. We've got, as I said, a national presence, a real focus on supporting trades and construction predominantly, as well as the care sector and health and disability. We've helped over 700,000 apprentices and trainees and over 250,000 businesses in strengthening their workforce, which is amazing. We have a really smooth sign-up and admin support process as well, which we pride ourselves on, and we provide a full wraparound service from sign-up right through to completion, which I'll go through a little bit today. Another point of difference for us and other providers is our dedicated customer service team, which T is involved in, and we really pride ourselves on that. We have an amazing system with our 13 MEGT number, and we'll always get back to you very promptly. Our team is amazing. So hiring an apprentice or trainee, how do businesses benefit? What's the benefit to hiring an apprentice? You get to build your own skilled workforce. So hiring new employees can upskill your current team as well if you have labourers and things on site. Productivity gains. I mean, having your own apprentice, teaching them the way, and having that extra set of qualified hands with you. As I said, training your way, having someone trained in your business to how you run things and training them up. You're not inheriting bad habits, and you're really training up your staff how you run. There's access to government financial incentives, which we will briefly go through today. It is obviously depending on eligibility and whether you're eligible for these incentives, but these are Commonwealth government incentives and they apply nationally. Being a leader in your industry, we have to give back to the industry that you're in. You need to we need to train new apprentices. Obviously Australia has a huge skill shortage. We need so many more skilled workers by 2030, and we really need to invest back into the system to really get what we need out of it. And as I said, like with that skilled workforce, we have to future-proof that to build the next generation. From an apprentice perspective, how do they benefit? So it's a great model, earn while you learn. You don't have to stop work and go into training, university, anything like that. You are earning while you're learning. So you're working every day while you're training, and you're getting that income, which is really great. Hands-on. So as I said, again, instead of university, a lot of book work, reading, assessments, this is hands-on real-world experience. You're training in the environment you're going to work in. So developing those practical skills while you're on the job. Obviously, there is a little bit of classroom work here and there as well with our training providers, but it really is that on-the-job learning. Job security and having that long-term career. Most apprenticeships go for around the 4 years, and the investment in those 4 years is amazing for your long-term career. Once you're qualified, you can go absolutely anywhere, in Australia and also the world, while you have that trade qualification or non-trade. Industry relevant training, obviously, as I mentioned before, aligning to the needs of employer and industry, really important. Access to support and guidance. So I'll go through a little bit later on in the presentation as well about the support we provide to our apprentices, trainees and employers to make sure we set them up for completion and really get them to the end of their qualification. The key apprenticeship program. So this is a government initiative, a federal government initiative, where in our industries that are most needing our skilled workers at the moment, which is clean energy and the housing and construction, they are now attracting some extra funding for these areas. So potentially eligible for these, if you are, is a maximum of $10,000 as an apprentice. It's a huge amount of money to help you through your apprenticeship, and for the employer, it's the $5,000 incentive as well. So as the employer, you get a little bit to help you out with the trade school fees and things, and then the apprentice, you get that. And it's, as we've got here in the slide, that's every 6 months in stages, and then later on to get these incentives. And you claim those directly through MEGT. So we help you through all of that as well. there are as well, there are incentives for the other sectors, so not just clean energy and housing construction. If you're in a priority cohort, which most of the trades are included in here, there is still a $2,500 incentive payment available if you're eligible. So there are still those. Just to mention as well, there are other key supports and things available. There is a trade support loan that's offered to all apprentices, and that's a maximum of just over $25,000 for the life of the apprenticeship, and it's paid every month, and you have to opt in every 6 months. So there's definitely extra supports available. Because as an apprentice or trainee, obviously your wage isn't really at max capacity yet because you're still earning while you're learning. So there are a lot of supports and incentives available. Not only those, but there is sort of state-specific funding and initiatives as well. So stay tuned for the end, and if you do have questions, please write them down and ask them at the end. And you're also welcome to contact me anytime if you've got state-specific questions where there might be extra funding available as well. So the contact schedule with MEGT, so we're there for you the whole way through, from sign up right through to completion, as I mentioned before. These are the stages that we will make contact to a general cohort of apprentices. When we are talking apprentices or trainees with a disability, there is extra supports available here, and we do extra contacts. There's extra contact stages in place for those cohorts who need a little bit of extra support. So I can provide that information as well after this, but for any of those cohorts, we do provide that extra layer of support. The next one that sort of goes into that as well, so along with extra contacts and things throughout the apprenticeship or traineeship, for anyone who may have a disability, we also provide mentoring and personal support. This is completely free. It is a free service provided by MEGT. We have expert mentors that work for us in every state, as well as like your specialty First Nations mentors as well. So this support is not only just available for apprentices and trainees, it's available for employers as well. It might be their first time putting an apprentice on or a trainee, and they might be struggling with, how it's going. And we are there all the way to assist them and get them through. Our main goal, honestly, we really want the apprentice and trainee to complete. We do so many sign-ups per week, per day, but our end goal, we want to see them go from sign-up stage right through to completion. That really is our end goal. We want those guys to be really successful. So mentoring and personal support, you can opt in at any time. We will do a pre-assessment before the sign up and sort of assess if they might need mentoring. But with those apprentices or trainees that do have a disability, they'll automatically go into our mentoring system to get that extra support. Our MEGT job board. So this is an amazing service we provide. It's a complete national service. It's very similar to your Seek, Indeed, that kind of thing, but it's completely free. So our employers can advertise jobs through here, and also job seekers can use this. It's completely self-service, so they can put jobs up and the applications go straight to them. I thought this would be a really good one for all of you. If you do have sort of people with a disability or participants, anyone who is looking to get into an apprenticeship or traineeship, please direct them to the job board. You can search via postcode or wherever you're located and filter through those. And this is a job site just for apprenticeships and traineeships. So a great way to look through. You don't have to filter through, so many other jobs on Seek. You could just look for your apprenticeship or traineeship. We're here to help anytime. Let us know if you need anything extra with the job board. But it's a fantastic tool for you guys to use and keep up to date. You can set alerts and things like that to see if there's any jobs that are suitable in your area. So this is the process that we go through, like I mentioned, from assessment and sign up right through to completion. We are there the whole way through to guide you. So from starting point, if someone starts an apprenticeship or traineeship, they need to contact MEGT within 14 days. So we will come out. Well, first of all, we'll do an assessment, which we call a get ready check. Like I mentioned before, that's where we will decide whether they might need some mentoring or extra support. And then we'll book the sign-up appointment. So we have field staff that cover all across the nation. We also cover right up to the tip of Australia. We've had sign-ups right up to Cape York and the tip, and then right through to the bottom as well. So we have field consultants that live and they're local to their areas, which is, again, something we really pride ourselves on. We have our locals who live and work in those areas, and they really know their regions. So wherever you are in Australia, we have got someone to cover your area. They'll come out on site, wherever site may be that day, complete the sign-up appointment. If they're under 18, they'll just need the parent and guardian as well. And the employer to sign off on that training contract. So we'll complete that, process that, help you choose your training provider for your area, whether you want on-site delivery or whether you want to send them to like a TAFE or trade school. We'll help you sort all of that out as well. As I mentioned before, financial incentives will help you claim all of those. We love to send out reminders when those are due, when they're going to expire. We really want to make sure that they get their financial incentives. We don't want to be missing out on money sitting there. Ongoing support and mentoring I've mentioned all the way through and then to completion. I'm going to hand over to T, who's going to take us through Disability Australian Apprentice Wage Support, which is a little bit of a mouthful, so we do call that DAAWS. So T, I'll let you take over. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for having me. So as Renee introduced me, I am the Assistant Customer Service Manager for Queensland specifically, the Sunshine State. However, DAAWS is applicable nationwide. So that means it doesn't matter which state you're in. If you are deemed eligible for this incentive, you will potentially be in receipt of it. So the way that it works, it's one of the few incentives that even though it's paid to employers, it's there to support both the employer and the apprentice, whereas most of the other incentives, the person in receipt of that incentive is who's going to use that money. So I personally really like.
Sorry.
You're good, Maddie. I personally really like this incentive because it is one of the ones that really shows that there's an ongoing connection between everybody and they're really working towards supporting each other. The other very beneficial thing of DAAWS is that it's one of the few incentives the employer can actually opt out of being in receipt of the money, but keep the ongoing support provided by the RTO, because when the employer opts in for the DAAWS incentive, it generates the off-the-job training via the RTO with additional assistance. So they can actually say no to the money, but still receive that additional support through the RTO because they've applied for DAAWS. So again, it's just one of those incentives where I just look at it and I'm like, this is an amazing idea. So the way that it works, it's also one of the incentives that isn't paid in a bulk sum. It's paid in per week in arrears. So as the slide says, I'm not going to go into too much detail because there is quite a lot there, but I'll just briefly highlight some information. So it's $226.01 to be very specific per week for full-time, and then obviously pro rata for part-time. But like I said, the tutorial, mentoring and interpreter assistance is also available through the required RTO. So by applying for DAAWS, it generates in the, and if you don't know what RTO stands for, sorry, I use abbreviations for everything, registered training organisation. So for example, the biggest one that most people know is TAFE. So by applying for DAAWS, the employer then brings it in the system for that training organisation that this apprentice potentially needs additional support, and then that generates that one. So can I have the next slide, please, Maddie?
Sure can. There you go.
Thank you. So eligibility wise, so the apprentice just has to have a recognised disability. So the whole point of DAAWS is that the person has a disability that impacts their ability to do their job. So it can be something as what we would think is simple as reading and writing, could very much greatly impact their ability to do their job. That is considered a disability that makes you potentially eligible for DAAWS. I actually recently signed up a gentleman in very rural North Queensland who had his arm bitten off by a crocodile and had it reattached. He's going to be a mechanic at his soon-to-be wife's family business. So he is very definitely eligible for DAAWS. So it's the broadness of an incentive that really just is there to help everybody. The biggest and usually hardest hurdle to get over when applying for DAAWS is that it's called a 608 form, to be very specific. It has to be signed by a registered medical practitioner, and we use that to then submit it to the department for approval. So that's usually the biggest hurdle, because obviously everyone knows there's a little bit of a wait time to get into doctors. So we do try and help everybody with that part, but unfortunately until we get it signed by that medical practitioner, it's a little bit of a hurdle. I think that's everything.
Next slide.
Yes, please.
Cool. I love this this next slide, and I noticed there was a question in the chat. I'm sorry to interrupt here.
You're right.
But, some stats on you know how many people with disabilities are currently completing apprenticeships or traineeships. I will find that for you. But here is some of our amazing testimonials and success stories. I'll let T run through.
So as Maddie said, we are currently contracted in some states, not all. So we had a contract in Tasmania. What that does mean, though, is that we still have active apprentices in there. We're just not signing up new ones. So Billy, Joe and Thomas are both still active apprentices with us that are in receipt of DAAWS and are in active contracts. So Billy Joe is a commercial cook or a cook. Would be the occupation for that one. Billy has dyslexia, so reading recipes, doing the theory component of their apprenticeship they struggle with. So using DAAWS has encouraged her to complete that theory work with the assistance of a mentor and a tutor at the RTO that she attends specifically for hers. Thomas, similar situation. It's a disability, learning disability. So again, educational challenges, which is usually the disability we do see for people applying for DAAWS. They struggle with the theory component, which we have, as Maddie mentioned, mentors. They call them a TSL. Sorry, it's just totally wrapped my brain. They make a specific program for the apprentice to keep on top of their schoolwork. They interact with their RTO mentor and tutor as well. So MEGT interacts quite closely with the RTO to ensure that the apprentice is staying on top of their schoolwork. They help them organise their calendar. They make sure if there's any specific modules that are coming up, if the apprentice really struggles with mathematical stuff, that they have that really one-on-one time to go through that if they know that it's coming. So they're usually the disabilities we do see. However, as you can see, Christine is a visually impaired school-based trainee, actually, which her story is quite inspiring, actually. So she started in a peer-to-peer workshop with her students amongst her own level as well. And now she makes Xbox controllers more adaptable in her business traineeship. So I actually thought that was pretty cool, coming from a little bit of a gaming family myself. But yeah, so that's all I've got.
Amazing. Thank you, T. Yeah, I love this slide. I love seeing the amazing success stories. You know, those living with a disability, you know, being able to engage and, you know, really successfully complete these apprenticeships and traineeships. It's a huge effort. You know, there's a lot of people even, you know, that don't have a disability and that are able and, you know, they drop out. And then you've got these guys who are really out there, you know, having a crack and proving everyone wrong. So I absolutely love these slides. We have many more success stories where they came from. And yeah, I see that in the chat, you can absolutely get a copy of the slides. We'll definitely provide that. And there's some amazing success stories on our website and things as well. which we can provide. I know that a few questions coming in. I think we've covered sort of the basics here, but yeah, absolutely keen to open up the floor, and if you've got any other questions for myself or T, I'll probably let Renee look after it.
Yeah, thanks, Maddie and T. I think you have answered quite a few of these questions. I think the one from Louise is really pertinent to our sector, and that is the full-time aspect.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Is that flexible? Is there anything that can be carved out or customised?
Yep, absolutely. So part-time apprenticeships and traineeships are absolutely available. They're all set up, ready to go. I mean, T, we've got many apprentices and trainees that do part-time, don't we? We've got so many that do that. Obviously, it does take the extra time, but you don't have to commit as much. So, for those who do have a disability that might impact them to be able to participate completely full-time, the part-time option is there and ready to go, and all we do at the sign up is just allocate that it's a part-time. You complete your trade school, your training, and then so I think it works. You'll obviously work that out with your employer, but it'll be a couple of days work a week, and then covering your trade school time as well.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry, I do think you did answer that, but I think the expansion was good.
No, that's cool. And I'm happy to answer it here just in case people that aren't reading the chat, we can open up and answer that. T, did you have something to add about the part-time?
Yeah, so there's also school-based as well.
Yep.
However, it is state-based and qualification-based. So some qualifications in specific states won't let you do another contract mode. Most of them, it's either full-time, part-time, or school-based. However, that's usually the rule of thumb, but there are some specific ones where you have to be full-time. But happy to search anything or answer any specific qualifications if anyone has any specific questions about that.
Yeah, and school-based is a great option. We have so many that do school-based. There's even different specific schools, like in Queensland particularly, and they're actually moving to Victoria as well. There's they're called the industry school, and they're actually specifically, for those kids who don't want to go to university, who maybe want to go on a different path and to get into the school-based apprenticeship space. So there really is that pathway there. If someone really does want to finish school, but they're really keen to get into the apprenticeship or traineeship space, they can start early, and it's a couple of days school a week, and with a couple of days work. So as well as doing your RTO. So yeah, it's a great way and a great option, as well as the part-time.
Yeah, that's excellent. I see that you've answered the incentive for DAAWS additional to other incentives. Yes, that's right. Traineeships are also considered in the DAAWS program. You haven't got a contract in SA at the moment, but you do work with MAS National in South Australia. So obviously there's a MEGT version in the areas you're not in. Brian asked about the slides. Yes, we'll definitely get those to you after the session. Okay, so now I think we've got to everything except this last one from Mel. I'm dealing with an employer who wants a business admin trainee. When do I bring MEGT on? I'm in Albury-Wodonga area.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great, Mel. We can definitely help you out. I have a field consultant, Tracy, who covers our Albury-Wodonga area. So I'd even be happy to introduce you to Tracy. Like I said, our field consultants are local people. They live in the area. They've got great connections. So if they're actually looking for a trainee still, first point of call, get them to advertise on our job board, which the link's been provided in the chat. Get them to advertise the job. I mean, I had someone last week who put an apprenticeship up and they said they had like over 1,000 applications. I was like, oh my God. So
Was it electrical?
it is, yeah, it is successful. So if they want, put an ad on our job board as a first port of call. And I'd love to introduce you to Tracy, who's our consultant out there, because Tracy might have some local connections to the TAFEs or the schools where she's got maybe a young person who might be really interested in that. So if you send me an email, Mel, would that be okay? I just think if that's easier, my email's up on the screen. Flick me a quick email with your details and I'll send back Tracy's details in Wodonga, and let's see if we can get the job filled, and we'll look after all of that for you.
Yeah, thanks, Maddie. That's excellent. Aaron has put something in the chat. Do you maintain a database of RTOs who are more proficient at delivering a modified SBT that aligns with the requirements of employment services?
For the employment services side. So what we do is we don't align with RTOs specifically, because we, as we hold the contract for apprenticeship services, we advertise all RTOs and we will let our clients know about all of those in the area. We have great relationships with them. So if you are, wanting to a modified program, or you might have a group that you're looking for something a little bit more specific to their needs, we can absolutely set you up with those guys. So there might be someone in your area and we think, oh geez, the TAFE are great at that, they'll modify a program to really suit, and we'll know the correct person at that institute to get you in contact. So we'll facilitate an introduction with them. If they align with those requirements and they're suitable, any of those sign-ups, just let us know and we'll make sure that we set you guys up with them. So we're sort of that conduit between, can facilitate introductions and things like that. However, we do work with all RTOs. So hope that answers it. Also, Aaron, if you're in a specific area and you do have questions about your RTOs in your area and someone who might do a modified program, again, please send me an email. I'll set you up with our local team wherever you are, and we can give you some information. And our field staff are amazing. They already kind of know which RTOs are great in which areas and who will help you out. So I'm sure I can get that answered specific to your area if you like as well.
Just to elaborate on that just a little bit. So in Queensland, we have the website that I've just put in the chat. So it's called QTIS for short, because again, we shorten everything. So the way that it works is you can type in a qualification on there as long as it's in Queensland, and it'll tell you all of the specifics around that particular apprenticeship or traineeship, what contract modes you can have it in, the time that's need to be served. And it also gives you a list of RTOs that support that qualification, because not all the RTOs in Queensland actually provide the training for that qualification. So again, I don't know how it works in other states, but that's just a really good tool that we use up here in Queensland, because if it's on the list, it means you're potentially eligible for funding, and it also gives you the RTOs that you can choose from. And you don't need to choose an RTO before reaching out to us. We can choose an RTO after our sign up, as long as we have one prior to submitting your contract. We're okay. So
yeah, I just saw Simon, for those on the call without an MEGT contract in their area. So for anyone in South Australia or Tasmania, and we don't currently hold the contract, I'll send the link that shows which providers have which contract in every state. I can't click into that link just because I'll bring it up on the presentation screen, but I might provide that to Renee and Liv to send out in the post-event pack, if that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you send it to Liv.
Perfect. Yeah. I'll send that through to Liv, Simon, and yeah, feel free. Like I said, anyone, my email's on screen. If you have any specific questions, please flick them through to me. Contact me anytime. Yeah, that's great, Rob. Like I said, MAS National have been fantastic to deal with in SA. Rob said we deal pretty closely with MAS because they don't have a contract in Victoria and we don't have one in South Australia. So we work really closely together to help out our clients in both states.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much, ladies. We've still got some time. So you're
I think
welcome
there's
to.
one more as well, Renee.
Yeah, I
From
will. Yeah.
Yeah, from Callie, are employers still able to get both funding through DAAWS plus employment services government wage subsidy? In the past, they could not double dip. T, do you know with that one?
Yes, so you can't be eligible for two wage subsidies. So if it's got wage subsidy in it, you can't receive it. The exception to the rule being childcare retention payment for employers, which the department has recently lifted. But yes, you can't be in receipt of both.
There you go.
Yeah, that's correct. So, yeah, so please raise your hand or put it in the chat, but you're welcome to continue asking questions. So we do have a little bit of time left. I've got a bit of a question if I can so indulge. How much time is allocated from your Disability and First Nations mentors to an apprentice or trainee? And do they work alongside and collaborate with a service provider if that apprentice or trainee has come with maybe an Inclusive Employment Australia provider or an NDIS provider? Do you collaborate together? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, T, do you have a bit of extra info on this one?
I do actually. So I'm based out of the north side of Brisbane, so North Lakes. I actually have a mentor in my office. She is actually an ex-social worker. So whenever she is aware that someone has a support worker, whether that be an employment consultant, NDIS, or social worker, she tries to encourage them to attend the meetings if they're pre-booked. Unless it's because I also work in the call center as well. So unless it's like they've called up and unfortunately they're feeling suicidal, whatever the case may be, and it's a straight transfer through and they can't pre-book it, we do try and incorporate the supporting people in the apprentice's life as best as we possibly can. There is no really set time. It could be a 10-minute meeting if the apprentice only needs 10 minutes of support. I've seen Jackie on the phone for 2 hours before. It's really just whatever is needed for that apprentice at that time. I know they have to make regular check-ins, so they do have a little bit of a schedule to keep to, but they provide as much support as their person needs. And I've even had Jackie sit in the office when the RTO tutor has actually come in as well. So they actually collaborated together to ensure that the apprentice had the best outcome. She was a blind apprentice, so they actually went through and made sure that they had the resources ordered and were waiting on a delivery of a braille reader. So it actually reads the document and then reads it out loud to the apprentice so that she can do that, because prior to that, the trainer was actually sitting with her in all of the training sessions and reading the documents out loud to her. So yeah, it's tailored to the apprentice and whatever they need at that time.
Thanks, T.
And just on that, so will your mentors be able to access job access? Do they apply for that funding for reasonable adjustments in the workplace? So for that documentation to be translated into Braille, or do they go back to the disability employment provider to make those applications?
That's all done through the RTO, so I'm not too sure about that side of it, but that's what DAAWS is there for. And specifically on the forms that they fill out, it asks what workplace adjustments or conditions they'll need to be able to assist them to complete their tasks. So as long as the form is filled out to the best of their ability with exactly what they need and why they need it, it is then up to the RTO and the employer to make adjustments to support the apprentice or trainee.
Fantastic. Was there any other questions? This is a really great opportunity to ask what you would like to ask. Right.
I think everyone just wants to bug Maddie later.
Look, Brian asks, is there any issues with participants who receive assistance from NDIS and IEA or IEA?
As far as I know, no. I've never seen any of the documentation for claiming ask those questions. The only question when it comes to actually applying for the incentive is it asks is, are you in receipt of another wage subsidy? Which is why further to the question previous, if you are in receipt of another wage subsidy, you have to pick one or the other. So as far as I know, it doesn't ask any questions about NDIS or IEA in any of the application forms.
Yeah, it shouldn't. You're right. It should just be those wage subsidies that would be a conflict. But this has been a fantastic, informative session, Maddie and T. So I really want to thank you. I can see all over the chat that everyone's got a lot out of it. So look, guys, before you go, can you please answer? It's a very short poll. It's 2 questions. So Liv will be putting that in the chat. It's really important for us to gather some feedback from you. So please take 30 seconds to complete the survey before you log off. And a reminder to make sure you log your CPD points. It's really important for you to have that professional backing of that program. So, yeah, make sure you get your points in so it counts. I'd like to remind you that our next session will be held on the 12th of August, and we'll explore the best support, the way you can best support people living with mental health diagnoses to prepare for, find and maintain meaningful employment. So we'll pop the link in the chat for you to register. And again, I just want to say thank you so much to Maddie and T. That was a really, really great informative session. So thank you for your details as well for our attendees to be able to reach out to you. That's very
I'll put it in the chat as well, and I'll stop sharing the screen. I'll put my email in the chat, guys, and email me anytime, anything, and I can field your request through other states as well. We'll provide the PowerPoint link and the link to those providers in South Australia and TAAWS. So thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in a fortnight, and the chat and the screen will be up for the next 3 to 4 minutes.
Thanks, everyone.